Standing By, the Terry and Ted podcast is brought to you by the UPS Store Canada, now with over 400 locations across Canada.
The Standing By podcast for the 28th day of January. Hi, I'm Terry DeMonte. Look, that's Ted Bird.
How are you now?
I'm okay, Mr. Bird. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Okay. I'm good. You? Everything's good.
We're all good.
Everything's good. The Standing By podcast on this, well, it's a wintry day when we're recording this. There has been all kinds of snow apocalypses around. Toronto really got...
yeah, we kind of dodged it,
did
eh?
we ever? Yeah.
Toronto looks like Montreal and vice versa.
Yeah.
We just sort of got sideswiped.
Yeah, I think according to the mayor of Toronto, there was 89 feet of snow.
What did she say?
Yeah,
60 meters or
50
something?
meters. 50 meters. Yeah. They got hit with 50 centimeters. That's an awful lot of snow. And it was all part of the big we're all going to die storm that hit North America.
North America, yeah.
Everybody was trying to scare everybody about.
A lot of flights canceled all over the place.
Yeah, it was a mess for sure. And here's a news bulletin. It's January.
Yeah.
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 There you go.
There could be some more of that.
There could be.
Before April.
Stand by. The Standing By button is buttoned by the boot bow. Normally I'd say let's start again, but to hell with it.
Yeah.
Brought to you by our good friends at the UPS Stores Canada, our title sponsor. They've been our title sponsor for quite some time now with over 400 locations across the country. I tell you every week, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm telling you there is a UPS store within the sound of my voice. Doesn't matter where you are in the country. Far-flung areas in the middle of nowhere, maybe not. Maybe you have to drive a little. But if you live in any of the major centers and even the not-so-major centers, you'll find a UPS store where you can find passport pictures, mailboxes, stuff to pack, stuff to ship. An entrepreneur who's a business guy just like you, if you run a small business from home, they can solve an awful lot of your problems. And if you go to their website, you can find a business blog with all kinds of great updates and explanations about how to ship to the United States, which got a little more complicated in the last little while. Go to the upsstore.ca.
When you said brought to you by the Bittenbow, Bootenbow,
Yes.
and then just kept on going,
Yeah.
we record this live to tape. Not on tape, but that's the old expression, live to tape. This is not, well, it is pre-recorded in a sense, but our commercials we do live.
Yes.
So I'm listening to Tucker Carlson's podcast last week. He records his commercials, and you can tell, like, they're dropped in.
Yeah.
He doesn't do live reads. And I forget what the commercial was for, but he invited his listeners to clink on the lick for more information. And let it go.
Just phoning it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought the first person I thought of was my old news director from CFTR in Toronto, Bob Holliday, who used to say there are three things that are inexcusable: laziness, sloppiness, and stupidity.
Yeah.
And if we had ever recorded anything and said, clink on the lick, and let that go and put it on the air, we'd have been fired.
Yep. Well, it was a different standard.
Yeah.
Eh?
I would think that a guy at
Excuse me.
Tucker Carlson's level would be professional enough that he would go, you know what? I just said clink on the lick. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
But he was like, good enough.
Oh, well, I guess he's,
I guess when you get that much money in the bank, you don't give a shit, eh?
You got $500 million in the bank, you don't care, or more, or whatever it is.
Whatever Qatar is paying him.
Yeah. I want to say hi to the gang at the Main. I know for the last three podcasts we've been talking about the Main, but I got a nice note from Phil Taba. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Phil. We want to say thanks to them because they cottoned on to us talking about The Main. The Main is an online magazine, which we think is absolutely terrific. Ted and I are both subscribers, and we've been talking about them for the last couple of weeks. If you're a regular downloader of the podcast, you know that. just a terrific Montreal-focused magazine that just does an amazing job. Their photography is terrific. Their journalism is terrific. Their scope of what they cover is fantastic. Everything
They're very hip and current.
yeah, from restaurants to the history of the city. Some great stories that I didn't know. I said last week as a, dyed-in-the-wool Montrealer, I'd never heard the story about the history, the actual all the way back history of Schwartz's. The story of the fish.
Operation Fish Tits.
Yeah, Operation Fish Tits, as I called it, at the Sun Life Building. Anyway, Phil and I have exchanged emails. We're going to have them on the podcast. And they lifted a clip from our podcast last week and put it on their website. So thanks to them for that, because I'm sure a lot of their subscribers caught wind of the fact that Ted and I have a podcast. So thanks for that, Phil. We'll be in touch. And thanks to you, Ted, for coming to my dad's send-off with your son, Charlie. That was very lovely of you.
It was a great event. And I don't know if it was you who said this to me or your brother Dean, but somebody said, you know what? It was a memorial. It was a celebration.
Yeah,
it wasn't
celebration
a funeral.
of life.
It was a celebration of life. And it was family and friends getting together. And Dean, your brother, put together a really nice sort of a slideshow that just ran on a loop on screens all around the room.
Yeah.
And it wasn't somber. It was the opposite of somber. It was really a celebration of your dad's life. And somebody said, this is way better than a funeral.
Yeah.
Because funerals are sad.
Yeah. And Dad didn't want that. He didn't want that. One of the things, I think you might have asked me, and a number of people asked me, said, what time do the speeches start? And I said, there aren't going to be any. As per Dad's request, there's not going to be any speech of fine. There's no going to be clinking of glasses and, excuse me, attention, everybody. There was none of that. What there was thanks to, I'm going to talk about this in a second, but thanks to the generosity of a local family in Arnprior, we had our own space and plenty of parking, and there was a display reflecting Dad's life with his hockey sweater and his skates, some pictures of Dad, his wedding album from 1957, I should say my mom and Dad's wedding album, some letters from friends of his on the table, and just an open space with food to eat and wine and beer and soft drinks to drink, and people gathered and mingled and laughed and told stories and shed the odd tear.
I liked that the refreshment table included a couple of his favorites.
Yeah. We thought it was a good idea. There was a giant tray of whippets because Dad loved whippets.
Yeah.
And there were jubes everywhere.
Yeah.
Because Dad loved jubes. I sent Dad off with a jube tucked in his hand when I saw him for the last time. Yeah, and it was an occasion that was really, really moving for me and the family, because people like Ted and Charlie had to make a 2.5-hour drive to the town of Arnprior, Ontario, where it was located. And we saw people come from far and wide. People came from Toronto. People came from Cornwall. They came from Kingston. They came from the outskirts of Toronto. Well over 200 people came to say goodbye to my father, and we are deeply, deeply grateful to everybody who attended. My mom sat for the full 4 hours and accepted condolences and surprised by some of the people that showed up. And I just want to talk briefly about the town of Arnprior. Arnprior is a small town in the Ottawa Valley, about a 45-minute drive west of Ottawa. If you're heading towards Algonquin Park, you drive by Arnprior. And while I was there, after my dad passed, it is kind of like the Andy Griffith Show. People kept turning up at my mom's house and my brother Dean's house with food and flowers, asking if there was anything that they could do. And when we were looking for a venue, the place where Dean rents his office from, my brother has a business in Arnprior. My brother married a girl from Arnprior, has been there for a very long time. And the Sullivan family, who are a prominent family in Arnprior, Dean called them and inquired about a building they had and asked if we could rent it. And the head of the Sullivan family, Rob Sullivan, said, no, you can't rent it. You can have it. And we won't accept your money, and you can have it for as long as you need it. And that's the kind of kindness that was expressed after my dad passed in this small town that was so, so moving to us. Mom and Dad's favorite pizza place, Mama Rosa's. If you're ever in Arnprior, go to Mama Rosa's. They put Dad's picture and obituary up on the front door.
Wow.
Just to say goodbye to him. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't happen in big cities.
No, that's small town stuff.
It really is.
Yeah.
And we were so moved by the kindness. It was everywhere. People kept stopping by to make sure my mom was okay. All the guys, the paramedics who had been dropping in on Dad, they all turned up. And on that note, I just want to quickly say, and I promise this will be the last time we speak about my father's passing, because, listen, the podcast is a reflection of what's going on in our lives, and my father passed away. So some of the episodes
we're going to talk about that.
Have been a reflection of that. So tip of the cap to my brother Dean and his wife Tish. Dean did so much work organizing everything, and all of his friends and colleagues and hockey buddies in the Arnprior community just did an amazing job. His son Dylan and his wife Erica, my nieces Kayla and Kirsten, Johnny, who is Kayla's fiance, all kinds of family and friends, and Dean and I and my sister Donna, who also, of course, was involved in putting it together, wanted to say thanks to Dr. Froschel, Dr. Kristen Davis, Dr. Kathy Greeno, and we want to say thank you to Mike, Matt, John, Chelsea, Steve, Devin, Jason, and Andy from the Renfrew County Paramedic Service. Jason, Matt, and Andy in particular helped keep Dad alive for a lot of months after he was discharged out of the hospital, and looked in on him almost on a daily basis. Can't tell you how grateful we are. And I just want to say one more thing about people that came. When you go to a funeral and you express your condolences, I don't know about you, but to me, you know, when you go to a memorial or a funeral, you find the family, you extend your sympathies, tell everybody how sorry you are, and, you know, you linger for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you make your way out of there. And I always felt like it was that I wasn't doing much. You know, when someone passes away, a close friend of yours, somebody passes away, and you think, well, all I did was show up and express my condolences. And it feels more like an act of politesse than it does anything else. But let me tell you something. When you're on the receiving end and these faces start walking through the door, it's like someone throws a warm blanket around your shoulders. Every time somebody walked through the door last weekend at my dad's celebration of life, my heart skipped a beat. There were people there I didn't expect, and even the people you do expect. I knew Ted was coming, but when I saw Ted and Charlie walk through the door, there's a feeling of warmth that descends on you that I can't describe other than that's what it is. It feels like a warm blanket. So to everybody who came, everybody who wrote, I want you to know how much it meant to me and all of our family, my sister Donna, my brother Dean, and especially my mom. My mom was floored by the amount of people that turned up. She kept saying to me, "Look at all these people here." And I said, "Yeah, that's what Dad did. That's what Dad did." So thank you very, very much. Thanks for coming, Birdman. Like I said, when I watched you walk through the door, I thought, there's the Birdman.
Well,
right.
On the way back, the siren song of the Colonel called me.
In downtown Castleman?
In Castleman, Ontario, yeah. Charlie and I made a pit stop, and I bought a 3-piece box of Regret.
We still call it Kentucky Fried Rat in my house.
Yeah. I borrow Pete Marier's phrase, Kentucky fucky yucky. But you know what? As George C. Scott said in his award-winning performance as General George S. Patton in the 1970 movie Patton, as he surveyed the carnage of the battlefield, I love it. God help me, but I do love it so.
Yeah, and it now at this stage of our game, it's a once in a while.
Well,
thing.
I think that was the first time in at least a year and maybe closer to 2 years that I've had Kentucky Fried.
Yeah.
And it's whatever those 11 herbs and spices are. It's the skin.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And And you know, people said to me, and then you got back in the car and drove? Yeah, I guess my intestines are made of unobtainium.
There you go.
It doesn't affect me that way. And I want to mention, while I was at the Kentucky Fucky Yucky in Castleman, a guy walked up to me and went, "Hey, I know you. You're Ted Bird."
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was Sal and Lorraine.
Yeah.
Whose son was at a hockey tournament. Their son plays for Vaudreuil, and he was at a hockey tournament in or near Castleman, and they just happened to be there at the same time. So they came and said hello. And Sal's just like us, eh? He's about our age, maybe even a little bit younger. And he goes, "Yeah," he says, "miss you guys on the radio." And I said, "Well, you can listen to our podcast." He goes, "Yeah." He says, "I see that sometimes on the Facebook, but I don't know how to find the podcast." Well, Sal, you go to Google and you type in Terry and Ted podcast.
There you go.
And you should be able to find it.
Yeah.
So
What time?
Anyway, it was really nice of Sal and Lorraine to say hi, and
That's
they had
nice.
some nice words to say.
That's nice. So all in all, it was a good, despite the fact that it wasn't a funeral, it was a celebration of life. Yeah, a good day.
It was a good day. I thought it was a really good day.
Long drive though, eh, Ted? That's
no. Are you kidding me?
it was
2.5 hours?
Yeah, that's
not. I drove to Fredericton with Charlie this summer. That's a long drive. Yeah. No, 2.5 hours on a nice day in a straight line is nothing. But if you live in Ottawa, could you please get the fuck out of the passing lane?
You know, it's not just an Ottawa thing anymore.
I know, it's here too.
It's here too.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm really stunned by people's lack of awareness of what's going on around them.
I think a lot of it has to do with demographic shift.
Yeah,
Quite
perhaps.
often here when I drive by, when I have to pass someone on the inside and I look, they're not from around here.
But I don't understand why you don't notice people are going around you and that there are 3 other lanes on the other side to drive
I don't know
in.
either, because you're self-absorbed. Or
I
you
guess.
It's where and how you grew up. I don't know.
You know, I was saying to Jess when we were coming home the other day, you know, we're being from Montreal, we're big city folks and often make fun of small towns. But I can't begin to tell you how moved I was by the small town thing in Arnprior.
Well,
Everything from the hospital to the care to the, ding dong, here's a lasagna. Like, is there anything we can do? Let me get that for you. There's a neighbor living next door to my mom that comes over and checks in on her and asks if she needs him to move the car. Like, there were all kinds of acts of kindness that were really heartwarming. It was really something.
I don't think people in the big city are necessarily less empathetic or compassionate, but life is just more impersonal when there are that many people, and life moves faster, and there are more distractions.
Yeah.
Like in a small town, when someone, your dad passes away, everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
All his hockey buddies knew, and I got notes from people saying you didn't realize it, but your dad was well known in the town, and when the doctors that were treating him got word of his passing, they called Dean to express their sympathies. Anyway, it was, it's a town called Arnprior. If you're looking for a drive this summer, go visit the town and say hi to the lovely people there. The folks there were just unbelievable. There's, in my opinion, the best chicken salad in the history of the world is at Sandy's Country Kitchen.
Did they make the chicken salad sandwiches that were at the
event?
Those
were the sandwiches.
Those were good.
Weren't they good?
Yeah, they paired very nicely with jujubes as well. Chicken salad and jujubes.
And a whippet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandy's Country Kitchen, it's called. Anyway, again, thank you for your tolerance of me talking about my dad's passing, and thanks to everybody who was involved, and a tip of the cap to my brother Dean and my sister Donna and Dean's wife Tish for all the work they did on putting that thing together. I think you would say it was as far as celebrations go, it was a successful event.
It was a home run. That sounds, it's counterintuitive to describe a memorial service that way. But as you say, it was a celebration of life, and it was a good one. And whoever said that to me about that, this is way better than a funeral, they were right.
Yeah.
They were right.
Yeah, some people were off-put by the fact there was no speechifying.
Yeah, but your dad didn't want speechifying.
He didn't want it.
Yeah, and you have to respect his wishes because it was his event. Yeah. I, on the other hand, want everyone to make a big deal of it when I go.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. You want bagpipes?
If I definitely bagpipes. Yeah, call the Black Watch.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, if I predecease you, lots of speechifying, bagpipes. Yeah, maybe even a rabbi.
Okay, very good. Speaking of rabbis, that's a beautiful Star of David you're wearing.
That's a gift. Tell. Yeah, if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a Star of David chain that was gifted to me, a late birthday gift from my friend Jeff Kovac, and I wore it today because today, the day we're recording, January 27th, is International Holocaust Memorial Day, and all 4 of Jeff's grandparents were Holocaust survivors.
Wow.
His 2 grandfathers were liberated from Auschwitz 81 years ago today.
Wow.
So I wear this today in Jeff's honor and in their honor.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's nice, eh?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I saw you got a hat from the IDF. If people follow you on Facebook, they would have seen that.
Yeah, Jeff gave me that as well, and that's the real deal. Yeah. That's not store-bought. That's from the IDF. So I don't wear this as a political statement.
No.
Believe me, if I have a political statement, you'll know.
Not in a shy way. Speaking of that, you were at an event, weren't you, with the tribe, with Beryl Wiseman?
I was, I was at the Holocaust, the Montreal Holocaust Museum. Jeff and I went. Yeah. Well, first we went to Schwartz's. Not Schwartz's, Snowden Deli.
Yes.
And Jeff ordered lean smoked meat and a black cherry cola, and I said, I'll have what the Jew's having. And boy, was it good.
Oh, Christ.
Not a big surprise. Did you know that Cott doesn't make black cherry cola anymore?
I know.
And it was bought by a Montrealer.
Yeah.
And now they make it in a Fleischer's, it's called. I think the can's bigger. I think you get more.
The can is bigger, and Snowden is serving it, and it's delicious.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really delicious.
Yeah, so Jeff and I ate there. Then we went to the event. It was the screening of a movie, a documentary film called Soul on Fire, and it was a film about Elie Wiesel, who's was a famous Holocaust survivor. He has since passed, but he wrote a book called Night, probably the most famous piece of literature that came out of the Holocaust. And his son Elisha was there for the event.
He was a man who spent most of his life tracking down people who got away.
No, you're thinking of you're thinking of Simon Wiesenthal.
Simon Wiesenthal,
no, Elie Wiesel was an educator and an author and a deep thinker, and it was if you get a chance to see this film Soul on Fire, it was really interesting and revealing. I knew nothing about Elie Wiesel except that he was a survivor and that he wrote a famous book, but I learned a lot about him by being at this event. And Jeff made a good point. He said, it's great that you're here because if I look around the room, it's all the same people who come to these events.
Yeah.
And it's all the Jews, and they're preaching to the choir. It's great that everyone is here, but they're preaching to the choir, and we need to get more people from outside the community to come to these events.
Yeah. Ted and I have been fairly outspoken online and offline about the horrific acts of anti-Semitism that seem to get worse by the day, and we are
allies.
Yes, allies is a good word.
Yeah.
And also, Snowden Deli is the best deli in the history of the world.
It is, eh? Yeah, because there's some stiff competition in Montreal.
And it's a topic for Montrealers to argue about all day long. And you got your Lesters, you got your Duns, you got your Fressers, you got your Schwartzes.
Paradise Kosher out on the West Island.
Yeah, and there's more and more of them all the time. But for me, Ian and the family at Snowden Dell are, to me, that's my favorite deli. I've been going there for Christmas celebrations. You know, if there's ever a big spread at my house, it's always from Snowden Deli. And I love the atmosphere in Snowden Dell. I think they painted and upgraded something like 15 years ago or something. But a lot of the waitresses have been there for 30 years plus. And the food is outstanding. I don't know what they do with their smoked meat, but it's my favorite. And again, it's a topic that you can go on and on and on about with other Montrealers. Everybody can challenge you and say, no, my favorite is... You can
good-naturedly agree to disagree.
Yeah. Remember those days?
Yeah.
Remember when
Vaguely.
When you could good-naturedly disagree about things? Remember that era?
And you didn't have to cut people out of your life? Because they didn't like the same sandwich as you?
Yeah. Friend of mine was telling me, I won't say his name, but you know who you are, pal. I love you. An American friend of mine. At Thanksgiving dinner with his in-laws all on 47's side, and him and his wife arrived, and they were introduced as the Democrats.
Oh, Christ.
What kind of way? Here are the Dems. Welcome to dinner. I just, it's... I don't want to veer into that, but
no. Well, that's why we steer clear of it.
Yeah. That's the era we live in. We're long past the good-naturedly disagree about that. Yeah, bring smoked meat up. That's an easy topic to talk about.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's very. You have to tread carefully and delicately, and you know who's really good at that, and at treading carefully and delicately and making it hilarious at the same time is Sugar Sammy.
Yes, you're right.
And if you snoozed, you losed.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh.
Montreal shows are done.
Okay.
Yeah. Until next September. He's already booked shows for Montreal next September. In the meantime, though, if you want to make a drive to Quebec City, 4 shows this weekend. Friday, January 30th, and Saturday, January 31st. Tickets still available for all 4 shows. They're bilingual shows. You're going to rear in Quebec City. And then Sammy's off on a 22-city U.S. tour. He added San Antonio. So when he sent us a note this week saying, hey, it's a 22-city tour now, I've added San Antonio, Texas, I sent him a note saying, you should go visit the Alamo, except autocorrect made it, you should go visit the Salami. Yes, that famous Texas battle cry, remember the salami.
What a tour that is. He's doing like 4 and 5 nights in places like Detroit and San Francisco.
He's going to be all over the U.S. I think he's going to be coast to coast.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's really something. And Quebec City is, that's a good, you could turn that into a weekend.
Yeah, well, it's this
Beautiful
weekend.
City to visit.
So look at the weather forecast. I don't know what the weather is for this weekend, but if the weather's good and the drive is easy, Quebec City's spectacular, and particularly in the winter. It's magical up there in the wintertime.
Yeah, you can. Well, it's not quite time for Bonhomme yet, but I think
isn't he around? I thought I saw him with the Prime Minister.
He was
last
with
week.
the Prime Minister.
Or was that a special appearance?
No,
they call him up and say, Bonhomme!
Yeah.
Le Premier Ministre!
Yeah, it'd be a great weekend to spend the weekend at one of the amazing restaurants in Quebec City and then see Sugar Sammy. That would be great.
Yeah, stay at the. I wonder how much the Chateau Frontenac is.
Probably $1 billion now. Yeah.
Yeah, but once in your life, go to Quebec City and stay at the Chateau.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
Is it still a Fairmont property?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Go to sugarsammy.com. It's a great website, by the way. I was trying to make a list of things that I'm going to recommend at the end of the podcast. By the way, we're recording this on January the 27th, 2026. That's the thing about podcasts. When we talk about weather and this weekend, you could be listening to this
if you're
in
watching
July.
it a year from now.
And going, the hell are they talking about? That's why we record the podcast every week. And we're not exactly topical, but we usually talk about things around the time we're recording the episode.
We're old radio guys. It's ingrained in us.
Well, you know what? Somebody said, and my wife said this to me before Christmas. She said, the podcast is really getting much better. She said, it sounds more and more like a radio show. And she said, I like that.
Good.
So that's nice.
Yeah. Well, she's the executive producer.
Yes.
So if we're keeping her happy,
Yep.
then priority one.
The boss likes it.
Yeah.
Nice to hear. So we were talking about things I was going to recommend. And I said, we haven't been watching much because we've been completely caught up in both Premier League soccer, because I live with the world's biggest Man United fan, and football. And here comes the superb owl. Just weeks away now.
Yeah. February 8th.
Yep.
Yeah. Seattle and New England.
Yeah.
I think Seattle's going to kill them.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Seattle is just a machine.
Yeah. And we're pulling for Seattle because we lived on the West Coast for a little while. So we have a little bit of a tug at our heart when it comes to the Mariners and the Seahawks.
Yeah. I don't know what the point spread is. I assume the Seahawks are favored because I think the Patriots, they've turned around on a dime.
Yeah.
I don't think they were a very good team last year. They didn't have a great record, as I recall. And now they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, the turnaround in New England is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
I'm still New England out from the Tom Brady days.
Yeah, I know. Everybody is.
Yeah. Do you like him as a color commentator?
I do.
I do too.
I do. Listen, sometimes I noticed this past weekend, what was the term he used? He goes, that's a pretty good, he said something to the effect of, that was a pretty good move for them to use the Circuit 7 there.
Yeah.
And I had to Google it.
Listen, I've been watching football for over 50 years, and I have no idea what a cover 2 defense is.
Yeah.
As soon as they get into that terminology, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But a guy like that's why I like listening to Tom Brady, Tony Romo, Troy Aikman. Those guys have all been there.
And those guys, I think they turned into good broadcasters.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do as well.
Yeah.
My favorite is Daryl Johnston.
Yes.
Moose Johnston, who used to play for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I like the way he doesn't have a whole lot of diplomatic skills.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's terrible, he says, that was awful. Reminds me of Yvon Pedneau, the late Yvon Pedneau, God rest his soul, when he worked on RDS with Pierre Hood. Quel mauvais jeu par Brisebois.
Yeah, Brady was talking about, he uses terminology that quarterbacks know. When he was describing a pass being, that's the 2-2. You put that upstairs higher.
So he explains it?
Well, sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't. Like I said,
that'll be part of his progression as a broadcaster. Someone, hopefully, a producer will say to him, listen, when you say, triple whammy 7, you've got to explain what that is. Because Ted Bird has no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I happen to, I'm not a Tom Brady hater. A lot of people hate Brady because he's good looking, he's successful, he married a supermodel, he's got a lot of money.
But he also comes across as very nice.
Seemingly to me, I think he seems like a very nice man. He took a lot of shit on the internet this past weekend because he was wearing a $600,000 watch.
Oh, well, smoke him if you got him.
Yeah, $600,000.
Did he go, hey, look at this,
no, he
my
didn't.
$600,000 watch?
No, someone noticed and put it on the internet so everybody could shit on it. Yeah. Anyway, the superb owl, by the way, is a line from What We Do in the Shadows. It's a comedy show about vampires that Jess and I loved. It was on a few years ago. And the vampires were all excited because they were invited to a party for the superb owl.
Speaking of vampires, have you watched Sinners?
No.
Sinners is the movie that set the record for Oscar nominations with 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, what's the big deal? So I watched it the other day. It's the same, I believe it's the same filmmaker who made Black Panther.
Okay.
And I might be wrong, but I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it. It started off slow, and I thought, what's the big deal? Then it picked up, the pace picked up very quickly, but it was a vampire movie.
Okay.
It was a horror movie. I'm not a horror movie guy.
No, me neither.
But I stuck with it, and I thought it was good. I don't understand why it set the record for Oscar nominations.
Mm-hmm.
There are other movies that I thought were better.
Right.
And I thought the one nomination they missed was Jack O'Connell for Best Supporting Actor. Jack O'Connell's the guy who plays Paddy Mayne in SAS Rogue Heroes.
Yes.
And he is the most believable Irish vampire that you'll ever see in your life. And he's so good, this guy.
Yeah.
Like, my family came
Talented.
from County Derry in 1806 or something like that. So I'm 8 or 9 generations removed from my Irish roots, but Jack O'Connell stirs my Irish soul.
Yeah.
He's so good. He is so good.
And he's great in this?
He's fantastic in this, and I don't understand why he didn't get a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. It might be because at least one and possibly 2 other actors from that film are nominated in that category, so he got caught up in the numbers game.
Yeah.
You know?
His time will come.
Oh,
he's a
it
young
definitely
actor.
will.
His time will come.
Yeah, he played. You remember the movie Unbroken? Did you see that? It was about the American, the guy. It was about the guy.
The guy with the thing?
He ended up in a Japanese prisoner of war camp.
Okay.
In World War II, and he was. I mean, they all were abused by the commandant of the camp, but he was singled out. And it's called Unbroken because his spirit was unbroken.
I got to watch this.
And it's fantastic. And
Wow.
he plays, it's a true to life story about a guy named Ernie Zamperini, I believe was his name. He was an Olympic runner.
I've read this guy's story.
He competed in the 1936 Olympics.
Yeah.
Louis Zamperini,
Yes.
sorry. Yeah. So Jack O'Connell, who's he plays an American,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that he's Irish and English or of Irish and English descent. And you see that a lot. You see Irish and or English actors playing American roles, and you wouldn't, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's a tip to their, it's a tribute to their talent.
And Jack O'Connell is such a good actor that watching Sinners, I didn't realize it was him until about halfway through the movie. I went, holy shit, that's Paddy Mayne from Rogue Heroes.
Wow.
And it was the same with the Louis Zamperini thing with Unbroken. I didn't realize it was him until I read that it was him. That's how good an actor he is.
I'm going to find that film. The guy you're thinking of is Ryan Coogler, the writer, director, and producer of Sinners. He's the guy that put together Creed and Black Panther.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should win for best soundtrack. The soundtrack is fantastic.
Really?
It's mostly Delta blues. Buddy Guy has a cameo in the movie. And a song on the soundtrack. And Jack O'Connell sings an old Irish folk song. Something about the road to Dublin. And it's so good.
Wow.
It's so good. It's a bunch of vampires singing and doing vampires singing and dancing an Irish jig. And it's great.
It sounds absurd, but fun.
Yeah, it is. It's well done. I'm not a filmmaker and I don't know anything about the artistry of filmmaking, but people who do are raving about this. Sinners.
When are the Oscars? I should know this.
March something.
March something.
Yeah.
Okay. Mano, our producer, is finding out for me. Conan O'Brien is your host this year.
That's
again.
right, yeah.
Sunday, March 15th. Thank you so much, Mano. I always tune in. I always say I'm not going to, but I always do.
Yeah.
There's something about that I think a lot of people love. And the Super Bowl isn't, it's February the 7th.
February the 8th.
February the 8th.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Our friends and sponsors at Playground
Yes.
are having a Super Bowl party.
Do tell.
Well, they can't call it the Super Bowl party because of copyright.
The big game party?
Exactly. I think we can say Super Bowl on the podcast.
Well,
without
no
being
one's
sued.
well, no, who's going to
Yeah.
chase us down?
The
We're
big
just-
game bash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might go.
Yeah.
Because it looks like a pretty good deal. $60 ticket. What do you get for $60 these days? Not a lot.
Nope.
At Playground for $60, entry into all prize draws and giveaways, tailgate buffet, and the food at Playground is off the charts. So you know the buffet is
A
going to
buffet.
2 beers included, access to drink specials all night, and of course the big screen and the and the prize giveaways. And the prizes are including 10 tickets to a Loge at a Canadians game in 2027. And 2 Super Bowl tickets for 2027 in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So it's a big, big deal. The Super Bowl party or the big game bash at Playground in South Shore, Ganawage. Go online, playground.ca. You'll find the details there and take the tour of Playground. Actually, it would be a great event and a great night and a great way to introduce yourself to Playground, to go to the Super Bowl bash and just take a stroll around at halftime, unless you want to watch Big Bunny or Bad Bunny or Bugs Bunny or whatever his name is.
What's up, Dak? Wrong bunny. It sounds like, just from the buffet alone, it sounds like it's
are you
weird.
on did you see the tailgate menu?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be good. You'll get your $60 worth.
Yeah.
Trust me. Playground's on the 138 in Ganawage on the way to Chattagee on the right-hand side, and it's quite a spot. It's hard to describe. You got to kind of see Playground to believe it.
It's so nice. It's such a beautiful atmosphere.
Yeah.
And like
It's
you said,
first class.
Yeah. First
Yeah.
class is a perfect way to
Yeah.
describe it. This past week, I finally got the thing hanging down taken care of.
You did, eh?
I did. I finally, I had something hanging down, and
Went to the urologist, and now I'm good. Got my prescription, and now I'm good.
what I did was I didn't want to take it to the dealer and do the waiting and you can have an appointment 10 weeks from now. Anyway, I dropped in on the Mersons. And Celso was behind the counter, and I said, I got a thing hanging down.
Did he get a haircut yet?
No, I don't think
eh?
so. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Excuse me. And I ended up spending time sitting in the beautiful waiting room, but not a lot of time, because he said, give me your keys. I'm going to put it up on the hoist. And he put it up on the hoist, and I said, tell me if it's something expensive. I'll take it to the dealer because it's still under warranty. But if it's something simple, let me know. And just let me know if it's safe to drive. That's all I want to know, because I was headed to Arn Prior. And he took my keys, and I sat down and I looked at my phone for 6-7 minutes. And he came back out through the door, through the garage, and said he was carrying a little chunk of something. And he said, it was just a little bit of soundproofing from underneath the car. You're fine. We just clipped it off. And I said, what do I owe you? He said, nothing. Don't be silly. Just go. You're safe. That's the kind of thing that I love about them. They fix the problem for me, and they never do the, well, boy, I'll tell you.
Run you.
Yeah. Your underneath Wigan flagon is hanging down and going to have to be replaced. He said, no, it was a little bit of soundproofing.
And that's not the VIP treatment just for Terry
No.
DeMonte. Everybody gets treated like that at Merson.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we've been speaking on the Mersons' behalf for all of these years, for many, many years. They've been in the same location, just past the corner of St. Jacques and Cavendish. I asked Celso, I said, quiet time of year? He said, yeah, except it's pothole season.
Yeah.
And he showed me a rim that they were repairing, like $1,000 rim with a big, big hole in it. And he said, he feels really bad for people because when that January thaw comes, the potholes wreak havoc on Montrealers' cars. And that's where people go get their rims and tires, at the Mersons. So bad for you, good for business, I guess is what I said. Anyway, Mersons, you can find them online, but drop by and see them. You can call them at 487-5545. or go visit just past the corner of Saint Jacques and Cavendish.
I want to circle back to the Super Bowl for a minute because I want to talk about that Budweiser commercial that you sent me on social media the other day.
Yeah.
That took my breath away.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's hard to describe.
Yeah. It's a celebration of Budweiser's 150th anniversary, and there's a Clydesdale in it, and it's animated because you can't get those pictures without AI help.
AI, yeah.
But man, is it beautiful!
Yeah, it really is. Budweiser, Clydesdale, Bald Eagle, and I think it's a successful attempt to distance themselves from the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco.
Yeah.
I think it was Bud Light.
Yeah.
I think it was that brand that they recruited Dylan Mulvaney, the quote-unquote transgender, to sort of try to appeal to that market.
Yeah.
And it really blew up in their
Backfired.
faces. It
Yeah.
backfired big time.
Yeah.
But this is Merca all the way, this new commercial.
Yeah.
What's the two guys at the end are watching the bald eagle soars off the back of the Clydesdale.
Yeah.
And one guy says to the other guy, "You crying?" "Sun's in my eyes."
Yeah, they're two guys with overalls and caps on.
Yeah.
It's the first Super Bowl commercial I've seen. It's a big part of the fun of the Super Bowl, of course, are the ads. And Budweiser was first out of the gate with this one. You can find it online. The other thing that caught my eye about this Super Bowl tickets, the 400 level in the corner, 11,975. 400 level on the sideline,
U.S.
$14,495. The 100 level on the sideline, $19,975 a ticket.
I'll see it playground.
Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, I mean, I guess as somebody pointed out this past weekend, the big games now for the average fan are the AFC and NFC championships because you can actually afford to go. But now the Super Bowl is just it's a corporate shit fest because
it's out of reach.
Yeah. $20,000 for a football ticket. Yeah. And Jess and I were talking about this on the way in this morning in the car. Harry Styles has a tour coming and a new record coming out in March, and they announced a bunch of dates. The new album is called Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. And I like Harry Styles. I'm a fan. He's doing 30 nights in a row at Madison Square Garden. Well, I don't know if it's in a row. 30 nights at Madison Square Garden. Harry Styles will be there. He's touring all over the world, but tickets in the nosebleeds are $500. So if you want to see him, in a decent seat, you're looking at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000.
Are there any big artists who've rebelled against that and who've said no?
Not that I can
not even McCartney?
Well, no.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. No. Paul's got he's got the feed bag open at the beginning of the tour. Just put it all in there. I'll take it home. Yeah. Yeah, funny. Paul actually got some pushback from big fans, fans that follow him around.
Well, your
tour.
wife is one of those.
Yeah.
She's part of Fans on the Run.
Yeah, and Fans on the Run, some of them said, "This is it. I can't do this anymore. It's too expensive."
I'm surprised and disappointed.
I am too, because there's been a discussion about, Paul doesn't know, it's his people. I don't buy into that it's his people thing. If you're the artist or, the hockey player or the performer or the actor, you're responsible at the end of the day for how you're perceived in public, I think. And you're also responsible to say, hey, how much are we charging for tickets? I get it. Touring is expensive, with all the trucking of equipment and the crews and all of that. But some of the ticket prices are absurd, absolutely absurd.
And I don't think he's a dummy, and I don't think he lives in a bubble.
No, he doesn't.
That's my impression, at least.
That's why I say he's standing there with the feed bag open. Yeah. And I don't understand it. I really don't. And I guess it's the smoke 'em if you got 'em. It's like hotel rooms. We were talking about this last week. Hotel rooms have gotten so ridiculously expensive, but people are paying it.
Yeah, not everywhere. I'm going to Toronto next month, and I've talked about this place before.
Yeah.
The Cambridge Suites
Yeah.
on Richmond Street, right in downtown Toronto. I've got a 1-bedroom suite for $170.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I stayed there last summer, and
Yeah.
it was fine and then some. I
Yeah.
thought it was really nice. I
Yeah.
thought it was nice. It was comfortable. It was centrally located. I was pleasantly surprised. I'll just keep going back there. But when Sam and I went to New York to see the Giants last fall, we paid $800 a night
Yeah.
to stay at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square.
In a hotel room, nothing fancy.
Yeah. And it was on a relative scale, it was worth it.
Yeah.
Because the broom closet rooms
Yes.
at other places were $500.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, for 2 nights, I'll spend the extra money and get a good room.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to stay for a week, I wouldn't have spent the extra money because I wouldn't have been able to afford it.
Yeah, Mano just put it up on, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the pictures of the room and what I think is an unbelievably unbeatable price.
Yeah, I paid last year. I went in the summer, so I paid more. I think I paid about $250, but still, you know, in the biggest city in Canada
Yeah.
and centrally located, like
Yeah.
right downtown.
Yes.
Richmond and Yonge is, you know, I walked there from the train station,
Yeah.
from Union Station.
Mano, do me a favor and type in the Royal York Hotel in Toronto. Let's, for fun.
Yeah, do a comparison.
Let's do a comparison because the Royal York is a landmark Fairmont property right
Yeah.
across from Union
It's
Station.
the Grand Dam of Toronto.
in Toronto, and there are other much fancier hotels there. There's, you know, the Ritz is there, and the Mandarin. You know, these are $1,000 a night plus hotels. I'd be curious what a room at the Royal York, the Fairmont Royal York, would cost. And Mano's just having a look. But this is the thing. Pardon me. Jess and I were talking about. It's people pay it.
Yeah, $465.
Yeah.
$465, and the room that I have is
Yeah.
that I've got at the Cambridge is a suite. This
Yeah.
is $465 for a room.
Yeah.
I've got basically a 1-bedroom suite, and
Yeah.
I'm paying $170.
Yeah, a king size bed. Well, there you go. Look at that. 2 double beds, $637 a night.
Yeah, with a little sitting area.
And the Fairmont's nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice hotel, but this is what I'm saying about hotel prices.
Yeah.
But the thing is there's people lining up to pay it.
Yeah,
So I don't know where all the money's coming from.
I don't either. I wonder how many people live beyond their means for the sake of appearances.
Jess and I talk about this. We were wondering about, you know, when it comes to like Taylor Swift tickets and your kids just absolutely positively have to go. Got to be credit cards.
I guess.
It's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, I lived beyond my means for
Yeah.
a while for the sake of appearances, but I wasn't aware of it. I found out the hard way. Yeah. Yeah. Now I live modestly,
Yes.
but I have no debt.
That's the bestest feeling in the world.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm
It's
at
just
the same
great.
stage of my life.
Yeah. I don't owe anyone
Yeah.
a cent.
Yeah, I'm at that stage of my life too, where the Visa bill at the end of the month,
Yeah.
every month.
I don't even
back
wait
to
till the
zero.
end of the month.
Yeah.
I pay it as soon as I use it.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Hooray! Before we get to the tweet sheet, I thought I would ask you about your expert hockey analysis that you talk about on Twitter. Do the Canadians have a goaltending problem?
It seems like they do. Yeah, they don't have a goaltender who's consistent enough.
Right.
Dobesh and Montembeault are both inconsistent.
Yeah.
And Fowler, even though he's the future, is still too young. I don't know that he's ready yet.
Yeah.
Unless come playoff time, they stick him in there and he does a Ken Dryden 1971.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got a good team, but they got a young team. They're in a slump right now. You know, their time is coming. They're
Yeah.
going to win a Stanley Cup in the next 5 years.
You think so, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't win one, they're going to come awful close
Yeah.
because they've got a really good hockey team.
Yeah.
But they're still young and inexperienced. They've got goaltending issues, and there are other teams. Colorado, in particular, is an
Yeah.
absolute juggernaut. So this won't be the Canadiens' year, but they're winning more often than they're losing, and they're fun to watch. And that's all you can ask for as a fan these days.
You know who doesn't need to get ready for a Stanley Cup parade are the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, that window
What
is
a mess.
closed.
What a mess
That
that
window
is.
is closed.
Yeah.
And William Nylander, there was a big kerfuffle.
Yes.
He's injured, I guess. William Nylander, one of their top forwards, and he gave the finger to the TV camera the other day when it caught him in the press box, good-naturedly with a smile on his face.
Yeah. But there's not much good-natured about
it was an immature move. It was just he didn't know what to do in the moment, so he gave the camera the finger, and they fined him $5,000, which for those guys is like, okay, you got to put a quarter in the swear jar.
You're right about that.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to feel that 5 Gs.
Yes, no kidding.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the tweet sheet, shall we?
Okay.
Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the one. Your wife sent me one.
Okay.
This is it. And I said, I hope Terry hasn't seen this. And she said, no.
Okay.
From @Andrew Chamings, me. Do you think Chewbacca has pecs or a trail of tiny teats like a piglet? Uber driver, why did you sit in the front? Just sent that to me the other day.
Like it.
From @VibesBummer, guy naming weeds. This one looks like a lion, but dandier. And from @Mariana057, I love the phrase "bear with me" because it can either mean be patient or the zoo heist was a success.
That's a new account, isn't it?
Which one?
The Mariana Z.
Yeah, that's the first one. First time appearance on the tweet sheet.
Very nice.
The zoo heist was a success. Is that a bear in your car? Shh. Stole him from the zoo.
Let's tell you about my friends at Accutech. Now that all of the events in my personal life have calmed down a little bit, I'm going to get back in touch with Trish. They're going to make an appointment for Tom to come up to the house. There's no point in Tom coming up to the house now because we've got like 8 feet of snow in the backyard and on the side of the house. It just doesn't stop snowing. I forgot when you move to ski country, it's like living in a snow globe.
Yeah, well, it hasn't stopped snowing in the city, so I can just imagine what it's like up north.
So when Tom comes up, he's going to look at our electrical setup, and he's going to tell me where he can put the Generac generator that I'm going to have Accutech install. And then he's going to my buddy Matt's house up the hill and going to look at Matt's set up to get a Generac generator up there, because when you live in the country, it's a little more dicey in terms of power outages and whatnot. Like, we're not living on Gilligan's Island, but it does happen a little bit more frequency. And we do have a little tiny generator, and it runs the fridge and the TV.
But it's not enough.
But it's not enough, and you got to go outside and plug it in. Anyway, Generac is the Cadillac of generators, and Accutech are authorized to sell and install Generacs, and they're going to come up to my house, and when they do, I'll tell you all about it. In the meantime, if you have any electrical issues, if you're building something, changing something, if you're a contractor and you're looking for a really great electrical company, the folks at Accutech are a family-run business that have been around since 1995. Accutech, Accutech. Accutech.ca.
Still 3 days left if you want to go to Robert Richer Jewelers and get me something in the January birthstone.
For the gosh darnets?
The garnet. That's going to be a theme now. I've already looked up the February birthstone.
Okay, good.
Amethyst.
Happy birthday.
Here's some amethyst.
Richer Jewelers, one of our favorite spots, eh? Just a great bunch of people that run a really great store that's been there for a long time.
And with Valentine's Day coming up, you might want to swing by and see them if you want to buy something to impress someone.
Yes.
They can cater to all price points. You don't have to go in there and drop 5 figures on a big old rock.
Yep.
You can if you want. Mm-hmm. But you can also find something far more affordable than that. And with every purchase leading up to Valentine's Day, a free box of Lindt chocolates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
That's a pretty good deal.
That's along with the little chocolate bars. There's the welcome to the store.
That's right. Yeah.
Really?
Well, quite
Wow.
often, it's not only the little chocolate bars, it's the little lint balls. Like quality chocolate. Stop laughing.
Well, when you say lint balls, I think you got to get a brush for your sweater.
LINDT.
Right.
You know, the chocolates.
Yes, I know. I'm just being an arse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, go see the gang at Robert Richer Jewelers and have some free chocolates and look around.
Yeah.
Buy something nice for your sweetheart for Valentine's Day, and that works both ways, ladies.
Yep.
You can go buy something nice for your man for
And you know
Valentine's
what?
Day.
You can have a chat with them.
Yes.
You can chat with them about, necklaces and jewelries and different stones. And they're really passionate about what they do, and that they've got a really welcoming atmosphere there.
Am I wrong? Is it incumbent upon men to buy women gifts for Valentine's Day, or can it work both ways?
Who knows? My wife hates Valentine's Day, and don't write me and say she's making that up, because I've known her for a long time now, and she doesn't like Valentine's Day.
Well, then why don't you buy me something for Valentine's Day?
Okay.
Get me some amethyst.
Going into the amethyst. Robert Richer Jewelers are on Dorval Avenue.
In Dorval.
Yes, it is. That's
Right
odd
across
that
the street.
Dorval Avenue
Yeah.
would be in Dorval.
309 Dorval Avenue in Dorval, right across from the salami.
There you go.
Remember the salami.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to welcome our guest. Okay, we're back, and we welcome our guest, Judy Martin. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Terry.
How are you?
Good.
Hi, Judy.
Very well. How are you? Thank you for
We're
having
fine
me.
and dandy. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see we're wearing hats that say "Shit Happens," that Judy just brought with her. Judy, it's is it your motto? Is it your what is it?
Well, it's the motto, because when I was diagnosed with cancer that year, our family had a few medical events, and I just started saying it. And then when I started my treatment, I went to a company and said, "Would you make hats?" I sold them out of the back of my car and gave the money to Cedars Cancer Foundation. It was my way of having a lot of people with shit happens on their head. The best customers were, quite frankly, children who I made go and ask their parents, was it okay? And I would tell them, don't wear it in the schoolyard because the teacher will take it away. So
Yeah.
we've continued it, and it's turned into a program with Cedars that at a couple of events.
Tell me about this. Is a story that I remember you coming into the radio station and telling, and I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. And now it's all around the world. Is the story of the bell ringing? Can you tell the story of how that started?
Yeah, so the bell ringing, when I was in full treatment, I would watch people leave the room. And as I was getting to the end of my 15 months of treatment, I said to the admin assistant, no one seems to celebrate having gone through all of this. And she said, we have like the Dollarama clackers, and if we remember, we bring them out. And I mentioned it to a friend whose mom had gone through treatment at Princess Margaret Hospital. And she said her mom had rung a bell, so I researched it. Sure enough, they have the Bravery Bell, which was introduced by a nurse whose name was Donna McCulloch. And I tried my best to get in touch with Donna just to say thanks for the idea. Do you mind if I copy it? Never could, so I just copied it.
Where did Donna start it? Where was she
At
from?
Princess Margaret Hospital.
So it did start in Toronto.
Yeah, so it
Wow.
did start. And nobody had ever at the time heard of bells ringing.
Yeah.
But now you hear of it all the time. And
Well, it's everywhere now.
it's everywhere,
see
and
it
it's
all over
often a
social media.
patient
Yeah.
who has brought the idea to the facility.
Yeah.
I was with a new friend this summer at the Jewish. They didn't have a bell, but when she finished, she rang a bell. So either in between, she found out they had a bell, or she brought a bell in.
Wow.
So we've given 5 bells to the hospital. So 2 are at Cedars Cancer Center and the radiation oncology and in the chemo which is where it started, up at the old Royal Victoria Hospital.
And when did it start at the Cedars at the Glen?
Well, it started the minute it arrived there because it actually
But
started.
what year? Because I'm a rectal cancer
20,
survivor, so shit happens is appropriate for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, yes,
and
it
I've been
is.
in remission since I think the end of 2016. But I never got to ring a bell.
Well, you can go back and ring
All right,
it
I'm
to
going
me.
to.
Because people do say, I forgot to ring the bell. I said, go back anytime. Because it's a celebration. It's not a recovery
Well,
bell.
I think I have a follow-up appointment
Yeah, so ask
next
your
month.
doctor.
So, okay, I'm going to. I'll ask
Okay,
Dr.
you tell
Rajan.
me when
Where's
you're
the bell?
going. You tell me,
Yeah.
and I'll make sure the
Judy
cancer
said I can ring the
people.
bell.
Well, and it's a real privilege when patients invite me to their bell ringing. I can't always go, obviously, but I do my best to go. But it started at the Vic on September 4th, 2013. And then when the hospital was opening at the Glen, Dr. Meekins invited me to go and see where would we place it, because remarkably, anything that hangs on a wall has to be approved by the architecture and planning people. My husband happened to be on the committee when we had the idea, and he helped navigate the system. And Joe just loves the bell. I mean, everybody
Amazing.
loves the bell.
Yeah.
Not all patients love ringing the bell because they know someone who's rung the bell and has since died, so they think it's a bad omen. But as I say to them, it's not a recovery bell, it's
Yeah.
a celebration.
I forgot about that, Ted. It's quite appropriate for you.
Yeah.
It happens. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Judy, tell me the story of the comfort kits, because I think when you first came into the radio station, that's what we talked about, wasn't it?
Exactly. You
Yeah.
were among the first to have us in. There used to be a picture of us on Twitter, but I think Twitter's disappeared. So
Okay.
the photo is, because I actually tried to look for it. So when I started my treatment on June 7th, 2012, my sister, Sally, arrived at our door with a picnic basket full of a blanket, water bottle, candy, because I love it, pajama bottoms, magazines. She knew what I needed in treatment because her husband at the time was in active treatment. And I put it into a backpack because the picnic basket wasn't that handy to walk. And I walked to my treatments every time from my home to the Royal Vic. It was to get my head around that I was going for treatment. And then, so every time I had the blanket, I also had toques made with shit happens because I lost my hair, and the nurses would stop and say, "Oh my God, I love your hat." And I said, "Well, I'd love to give you one, but you're not allowed to give them gifts." We did in the end give all of the staff mugs. When
wait a
I
minute.
finished,
You're not allowed to give the staff
you're not allowed
gifts?
to. They're not allowed to accept gifts, right? Which I get, but I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So when I finished treatment at my first follow-up with my surgeon, who had been the one, I mean, between the oncologist and the surgeon, they had literally saved my life. And he knew I was involved with Batshot at the time, and yet he says to me, "I'd like you to do something to give back to the patients." And I look at him going, "Not really sure I have time," but it got into my head. So the next time I went back, I went with the idea of a kit, showed it to him, and he loved it. So then it was a question of partnering with someone. And one of the guys in Arthur Porter's office at the time, the woman who worked with him, told me to go to Cedars Cancer Foundation. They are the cancer mission of the MUHC. So I met with the team, one who I knew quite well. Our sons had gone to school together. They loved the idea. So then it was a question of, okay, how do we pay for this? And because I work for a private foundation, those doors were available to me to meet with people. And one very large private foundation has been our principal benefactor. They understood the need for the blanket because when you go through chemo, your body temperature often changes.
Yeah.
You're cold. I wear a scarf even in the summer. In fact, the day I met him, was 90 degrees. I had a scarf. He remembered his dad always being cold. And so, the wheels were in motion to raise money. And to date, we've raised over $2 million and are building an endowment so that it can go on after Judy's had enough.
February the 4th, which is exactly 1 week from the day that this podcast airs. This podcast is going to air on the 28th of January. 1 week from today is February the 4th. That's a big day. That's a 10-year anniversary for you guys, correct?
It is.
And it also, isn't it World Cancer Day?
It is World Cancer Day.
Was that deliberate or did?
Well, we launched deliberately on World Cancer Day.
Wow.
Personally, I'd never heard of World Cancer Day before it. No. But now, obviously, I know about it. And Cedars always does a public lecture to educate people about cancer and supportive care. And this project falls into a supportive care kind of treatment. So on February 4th, we're all going to Victoria Hall. The hospital is not available to us because they're going through accreditation. So we'll go off-site, and all the speakers that day will talk about the uniqueness of everybody's cancer, how supportive care, how advocating for yourself is a necessary thing. I'm sure you know all about that. Because if you don't advocate for yourself, you can't expect anyone to do it for you. There are people who aren't strong enough to do it, so you always have to make sure somebody's on your side. And if they're not, then Cedars Can Support is there for the patients who really have no one.
I must say, though, 10 years later, I never have to pick up the phone and say, when do I come in for my next follow-up? Yep. They're on me like white on rice.
Yep.
You're coming in, here's your date. Like they really, I know that the bureaucracy can be challenging in the healthcare system, but the frontline care, in my experience, was absolutely fantastic. Second to none.
And I would agree. I never had a problem. By the end of 15 months later, was I tired of it? Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Did my body blow up?
Yeah.
Yes, I used to refer to myself as Little Lotta. You guys would know because you're my generation. Say that to a kid and they're like, who?
Yeah.
So, I'd go skiing with my sister and put on social media, Little Lotta went skiing today. So you do what you have to do to get through it. And for me, humor is something that I try to use.
The event at Victoria Hall on February the 4th. Tell me about that event. Can anybody go? Who's going to speak? And who are you hoping will attend?
Well, anybody can go. You do have to register. There's also going to be a Zoom link provided for those who can't.
Okay.
That's not available yet, but that's the importance of registering because you will get the Zoom link sent to your email.
Okay.
As an example, my mother, who lives in the townships, will not be coming to Victoria Hall, but she'll probably watch. So who's speaking? Justin Saunders, who's the doctor in charge of the supportive and palliative care division of Cedars and the MUHC. You'll notice I always say the MUHC because they drill it into your head because it is at the MUHC. So we should say it. I'm speaking probably quite briefly, and then there's a patient with his doctor who's going to be speaking, and he's actually been on the news quite a bit. But we're all going to be speaking about the importance of support from whoever you can get around you. Can Support has a whole host of programs available for patients, and the two co-directors, Virginia Lee and Anna Burgos, will be speaking about what's available. And then they are remarkably always available with their team. Over 10 years, I've seen the team change. Anna Burgos is the only one on the team who's been there from the beginning, along with Jeff Shammy, who's the president. And when I see her with patients in the hospital, her card gets handed, call me anytime.
Yeah.
You're never any bother. and someone from the team will be there to help people.
Wednesday, the 4th of February at 7 o'clock, Victoria Hall in Westmount. Ask anybody in Westmount where Victoria Hall is. Everybody knows where it is. It's stunningly beautiful and a great spot. If you can't do it at the hospital, that's a good pick, Judy.
And
Nice.
pray for no snow.
Yeah. If it would stop snowing for 10 seconds, that would be good.
Is there an online link people can go to for
There
more
will
information?
be. So you go to cedars.ca to register. You have to scroll down the page a little bit, but the copy of the poster's there, and there's a learn more. Press on that and the registration form, and then presumably, hopefully 48 hours or the day ahead or the morning of, you'll get the link. Those details Judy's not involved with, so you just hope it's going to all work together because, it's the doors open at 6 and there will be companies that have products that help cancer patients during their treatment there. We'll have a Shit Happens booth to buy the swag.
The Shit Happens booth.
We do it at a few. We do it at Dragon Boat and we do it at the Ovarian Run. And the rest of the time, they're available at the hospital.
You should get Sanivac to give you a portalette, and that can be your booth.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
Judy,
I'll work on that.
Congratulations. 10 year. When you sent me the note and said that was 10 years ago, I was like, oh my God, is that 10 years ago? And it is. It's a lot of comfort kits. It's a lot of bell ringing. It's a lot of good that you've put into the world. So I tip my cap to you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I haven't done it alone. Everyone's like, stop being so humble about it. But, we put together a very good team from the beginning, and everybody on the team at the beginning, particularly for the fundraising, had to be touched by cancer. I made that as a caveat.
Yeah.
And we're going to start, one of the volunteers that can support her parents were involved in setting up Cedars. We're going to do a campaign that's like, give us $10 for 10 years. So we're going to start working on that after World Cancer Day.
Well, I remember you were the one banging the drum because you were the one that called me and said, I got a story to tell you. I want to come on the radio. And you did one morning. It was, it's really been terrific. It's, the numbers are stunning. 10,000 newly diagnosed cancer patients. That's really, really stunning. Okay, February the 4th. So as of today, January 28th, a week from tonight, 7 o'clock, Victoria Hall in Westmount. Go to cedars.ca. Did I get that right? Yes?
You did.
Okay. Judy, thank you.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap it up for the podcast. We'll save our recommendations for another day. I don't have a lot of them anyway.
I would just say watch Sinners.
Watch Sinners?
I think I watched it on Crave.
Okay.
And let me know if you think it was worth 16 Oscar nominations.
Okay. Also, I got a note just before we go from Vito to ask me to talk about the Valentine's Day fundraiser. On Friday, February the 13th, they're having a supper and show affair for the Fondation Autisme et Toi, J.R. Mayrand. I hope I'm doing that right. It's at Plaza Vogue, and it's got 2 tribute acts that night, Elton Songs and Help, a Beatles tribute band. It's a supper and a show with those 2 acts. Tickets are $150, and you can get information at 777-7570. It's at Plaza Vogue, so if you Google Plaza Vogue St. Valentine's Day event, you'll get all the details there. Good luck.
And I'll be part of the lineup for a comedy fundraiser at Mac High in St. Anne de Bellevue, if I'm not mistaken. That's where Mac
That's
is,
where
right?
it is.
I probably
Correct.
should find that out.
Yeah, you might want to look it up.
I'm supposed to be there.
Yep.
Yeah. That's this Friday night, and they're raising money to help send the 2026 grads to Europe.
Nice.
It's a cheap ticket, $25. That includes 1 free drink, and drinks are $5.
Okay.
So come on down and get hammered and heckle me. I don't care. Bring it on.
Who else? Just you or?
Gino Durante's headlining. Neil Jana is hosting, and Lawrence Corbler is also one of the openers. And I've put the poster up on the podcast Facebook page and my Facebook page.
Don't forget to go to terryandtedpodcast.com. We'd love if you would subscribe to the Standing By YouTube channel. Standing By the podcast. You just go to our website. There's a link that takes you right to the YouTube channel. And we've got it up over 700 subscribers now. So thank you. We could use every subscriber we can get. You can follow us, Terry and Ted Podcast, on Facebook and Instagram and X. And if you leave a review for us, apparently it helps on Apple Podcasts or Spotify because other people discover the podcast. We'll get to the mailbag next week. There's a couple of letters I didn't get to, but I will get to. And a quick thank you to our producer here in Studio Mano and our executive producer, Jessica Dion. Thanks for downloading the podcast. We'll see you next week.
Standing By. The Terry and Ted Podcast is hosted by Terry DeMonte and Ted Bird and is brought to you by the UPS Store Canada. The executive producer of Standing By is Jessica Dion.